Kenya. Now, listening to each and every speaker here, speaking for the majority, a few things I'd like to point out is that we've all seen what's happening in Venezuela. It will not be, let me just say, it will not be an isolated case to countries anymore or to states anymore. And I think what now the government is trying to do, as you've seen, is they're trying to neutralize the bad name that has been going around. Because tell me why 2 years, 3 years down the line, we have a president who is going around in his cars, like he's campaigning, trying to mobilize people's attention, and some bloggers like Bianca Naomi, sensitizing how good he is. Because I belong to the school of thought whereby if you are doing something good and something visible and something that is working, if you are working and really delivering, you shouldn't need to tell us or tell anybody, whether in a bigger capacity in the country, at your workplace, at your business, in your marriage, in your relationships. If indeed you are doing something right, you need not tell people this is what I am doing or I am not doing. And so by the mere fact that we have people given the authority to push an agenda of this is what has been done, case in point, Moses Kuria, before he was outed mercilessly, we couldn't see him posting what he's doing or what he's not doing or what he did, with his trips and, the trade CS and all. We just had him mouthing anything and everything, yeah? I mean, for lack of a better word, what politicians do is what we call verbal diarrhea, And it's so unfortunate that after you have been ejected from what you thought was your way into more and more corruption, then you can come out here and start telling us that, yes, I did this, I initiated this, I did that. We don't care. If you did, we would have seen it, yeah? The current post, someone posted it, it's trending so much, whereby when Kibaki was sworn in 2002 in December, free education took effect in January 2003. We didn't need him to tell us he did it. He just actioned, yeah? And so even as we wait towards the Nane on 8th August, I'd like to point out that who was talking before me, what I think Japunja said is, we have people who are listening here, probably sent by the government to infiltrate and get to know what's happening. And so one thing I would like to point out is, as people travel and as we wait to host those who will be traveling, one, let us be very careful about it. People should carry their national IDs, because we will have a way for people to be stopped along the routes. You will see heightened security for not even traffic police officers. You will actually see the military and the police stopping about big carrier units, the buses, the matatus, and even personal vehicles, because there are people who will hitch rides. So let us carry our IDs. Two, let us walk in groups. If you know that you're coming, whether you're traveling for whichever reason, try not to be alone, because they will try to victimize people who cannot defend, people who cannot voice themselves out. When you're a group, you have power. So that is very important. Even as we host, or even as we get to contribute towards the cost, and I'm glad that you have not mentioned KOT. You've not mentioned the eateries that we will be using. That is very nice, because that's the one place they'll go. Two, when we plan on people traveling, can we also not point out the kind of vehicles that will be used, whether any buses and personal vehicles or money hired? Can we not point that out, so that if we can have, you see the way Hanifa was having a number reach out to her on people who are in hospital and needing bills and that, can we have a way of communication for people to to know how to kupangwa, so that even as though the space we have freedom, we don't have freedom, and we have identified that. Yeah, the freedom has been. I would request that even as we host, and especially as we host, we will have chaos. This will be foreseen, whereby people will take opportunity to now cause harm. We will have opportunity for the government to infiltrate those who, quote unquote, are pushing for this change. And so you might find yourself trying to do a good thing, but ujipate bana umekuwa abducted, and that's the end of you. So let us be very, very vigilant on the same. The last point I would want to point out, and I keep saying this, is change does not start from up there. And we've been singing on trying to have civic education at grassroots, but we have no idea how much we can get from law students who right now they're on holiday. We need to identify that. And I think we have lawyers in the house who can help us mobilize. We need law students who also understand the concept of the Constitution, because we cannot have people mobilizing and conducting civic education when you're not oblivious of what the Kadiba talks about. And because the majority have not read the Constitution, so it's very difficult to defend what you don't know. So when we start with law students, then the social media right now that's trending is actually Facebook, for some weird reason. We used to say Facebook ni ya watu wazee, but we've realized it is no longer about that. Instagram is not even doing much in terms of what we are trying to create as change. So can we have people I understand how to navigate around the social media platforms? Our parents now and our guardians and people back in the Ushago, a majority now use smartphones. And even if they don't use smartphones, there is an easier way of doing this civil education. You've seen whereby during Christmas or Easter, wakati watu wanaeka in Ushago, those who have been in the Ushago, wanaeka like a public screen, and then they project movies. It still happens, and not even far. Like I was in a place in Juja the other day, and people are doing crusade using that kind of forum whereby wanna project the pastor and then the pastor on speaker. So we can use some of those things. It's the small things that we need to identify so that people can actually learn. We might not get to everybody, but if we get to a few will tell a few will tell a few. And by the time we get to Nane and even beyond Nane, then we have immense knowledge and awareness on why exactly we are pushing for change. Yeah. And finally, as I finish, thank you so much to each and every person who is taking this at heart. If you're not able to step out, kwenda maandamano, because truth of the matter is there are people who are in corporate here, and you cannot be in corporate and then you tokea maandamano. We have to understand that, but they can support financially. Thank you for that. Keep